Good morning, everybody. We are continuing our Unit 7 that was going on. It is directing, in which the last topic is left. It is communication. I just want to recall that we did earlier in the directing before vacations. We started the chapter, the unit directing C. In the beginning, we did the meaning, feature, definition of directing, and in which we just learned there are 4 elements of directing, that is supervision, leadership, motivation, communication. So rest of the elements we have done, and today we will go with the communication. So communication is the today's topic. All we did the motivation, the leadership styles, all the topics we have done, and today we will do communication. So what is communication? Communication, what is going on between us right now? Right now, what I'm doing, I'm just delivering a lecture and you people are getting a message from that. It enhance your knowledge, and in the query session you will also give the feedback that what are your queries and what is understood by you or not, or whatever it is. It means the exchange of facts is there, exchange of ideas is there. We are just guiding to each other, we are understanding to each other. So what is this process is called basically communicating. You just imagine the world without communication. Suppose communication is not there, nobody is exchanging the ideas, nobody is exchanging the views, nobody is asking from anybody, nobody is telling to anybody. What happen in that case? No knowledge will be spread over. If you want to spread any knowledge, if you want to spread any information, if you want to enhance your skill, communication is must. Suppose imagine a business that is very silent, in which no communication between retailer, wholesaler and producer. Is it possible to do that business? No, not at all. Without communication, none of the business cannot be done, none of the personal activity, any professional activity, nothing can be done. Because when there is no exchange of ideas, when there is no exchange of views, when there is no exchange of suggestions, complaints, whatever, enhancement of knowledge is not there, no feedback is there, how can we imagine that in that case, in the absence of that communication, anything will be happen? No, nothing will be happen, everything will remain silent. So what is the author is saying about the communication? It is the act of transferring of facts, ideas, feelings, etc. from one person to another and making him understand them. What is this? It is the act of transferring ideas, feeling, etc. from one person to another and making him feeling and understanding them. Now, communication features. Communication features are, the features of communication are the number 1, 2 or more persons. Yes, it is very much compulsory. Whenever the communication taken place, 2 or more than 2 persons should be there. At least 2 persons should be there who just exchange the ideas with each other, and exchange of ideas is there. So the basic first feature is 2 or more persons. The second feature is exchange of ideas. Third is mutual understanding. Yes, whenever the people are communicating with each other, in that case, understanding should be there. Like the live example I can tell you. Suppose I'm just giving all these explanation to you. It is very much compulsory for both of us that understanding should be there. Like I'm sharing the screen in front of you, I'm speaking something else. So in the absence of any of the things, suppose I feel the need that the mutual understanding is there. If I want to convey this idea, is this topic to my students, some screen should be shared there, some written text is there, then I'll explain that written text with the help of live example, and then my students will be able to get the basic concept of communication. So what is this? It's a mutual understanding. And what you people are doing, you are just looking at the screen and listening the words that are given by me, correlating all that and trying to understand. So it's a mutual understanding in the communication. Direct and indirect communication. Direct communication, when we straightforward to speak to somebody, like many times we did this, you just keep your problem or you keep your suggestion yourself in front of your teacher, but sometimes we feel like we are not able to or speak, or in our absence any other just give our message on our place, that will become the indirect communication. But in the direct communication, the people communicate to each other directly, but indirect communication, it is through somebody else. Continuous process. Yes, communication is a continuous process. As the business will be there, as the life will be there, existence will be there, communication will be there as well. So communication is a continuous process. Use of words as well as symbols. Yes, keep in your mind, communication is not only the exchanging of idea through words, with the help of our gestures, with the help of our symbols, signs. Sometimes you feel like and you have to reply in yes, you nod your head like this, or you nod head to say no. Sometimes your face expression, your body language just shows and sign out that what you want. So in this way, the use of words as well as symbols can be there in the communication. See, let's see communication process. Here is a diagram is given in front of you about the communication process. See, first of all, the sender has to send the message. The numbering is there. The number 1 is sender. Sender is the person who sends the message. So in our communication, who is sender? I am sender because I am communicating message to you. Second is message is there. Sender gives the message and message flow. Like I am just giving you the lecture about the communication, and it is a kind of message that is floating to you people. We are using the videos, we are using internet connection, mobile phones, and our PC, our laptop. This is the media taken place between us. It may be the laptop, it may be the mobile phone, internet connections, whatever the things these are the media. So whenever the message is just go through media, in between that encoding is there. As I have to communicate you to the topic of communication right now, I'm delivering you a lecture. I have given them that the specific words, that is my encoding, that in which way I'm giving you. I'm expressing it to you in the English language right now. It may be the sign. Suppose if I just give you the lecture or something else, I'll just tell you with the signs or symbol, that will be the encoding. Encoding means the codes in which you are just giving the language to your message. And through media, it is communicated and decoded by the people who are the receiver. So like you people are getting this in your language. Some are just trying to understand in English to English. Some are just listening the English, translating in Hindi, and then understanding. So that is your decoding, that in which language you want to code the lecture. So that is decoding. And you people are the receiver in this case. You receive the message. When you come to know about each and everything about communication, at the end, we will have the query session. I'll ask from you all people that the lecture is clear to you or not. What happened in that case? The student will say, yes, it is absolutely clear. Some will ask for some queries. So in this way, I'll just get the feedback, and it is given by the receiver to the sender that the message is absolutely clear. There is a symbol noise. In the beginning of the lecture, you have seen just because of one call from a company, a noise taken place between, a kind of disturbance or interruption is there. That is noise. In our communication, that is the example of noise. Or sometimes we get the voice from the another side. Sometimes you have seen some students disturb the class. So that is the noise between the communication. I hope the communication process is clear so well to everybody. If still it is not clear, please note it down in your query. We will discuss it in the query session. I'll repeat the things, whatever are not clear to you. Let's go ahead. It is the types of communication. Yes, there are two types of communication. One is formal communication, another is informal communication. Formal communication, it refers to within an organization that is officially sanctioned. Whatever the information that is given officially to somebody, then it is known. Many times you have seen some circulars are given to the teachers and they just get it signed. What is this? It is the official information. It's a kind of official and formal communication that is given to or communicated to everybody. But sometimes we don't get the official sanctioned message. Somebody just come and give the message to us. What is this? It is a kind of informal communication. So formal communication is officially sanctioned, while the informal communication is not officially sanctioned. Now the types of communication, formal and informal. The formal type of communication has the features. It can be the written communication as well as the oral. And the people who are communicating with each other in the formal communication, they have the formal relationships. And you know, in any of the company, in any of the professional institute or the organization, whenever the formal communication takes place, there is an hierarchy and there are subordinates and chain of subordinates and superiors, and message is to be communicated in a line of process. So there is a prescribed path. Supposed to be in our school, our worthy directors want to communicate something to the teacher. What happened in that case? If he follow the prescribed path, so suppose the message is for so many teachers. First, he will just give the message to the principal. Principal will give that instruction to the HODs, and HODs just convey that message to all the teams that this kind of changes we just want as per the subject. So all the HODs of their subjects will communicate it to your faculty team members. So it will become the prescribed path. Organizational message. Usually the formal communication is used to give organizational message to each other. Whenever in an organization message is given to each other, it is given in the formal way. And deliberate effort, yes, formal communication is always created knowingly because it is a deliberated effort. Like right now, I have a formal communication with all you people. I'm delivering my lecture as per my class timetable schedule to a particular class. I prepare the lecture accordingly. I assemble the content for that, and I'm delivering to the whole class right now. What is it? It is the formal communication take place between us. Now, and what we did, we created it deliberately. Whatever we are communicating to each other, it is not unintentionally. Everybody is well aware. Yesterday you get the link. I send the links to you. Everybody knows that at 10:30 we have a communication between each other about the or of the business study class. Next is the informal communication features. Formation through special relations. Yes, informal communication not taken place in a formal manner. It is created through the special relations, and two type of information is there. It may be the about work or it may be the about individual. There is no certain path in case of informal communication. Informal communication can be taken place between any of the person through any of the channel. No prescribed path is there. Possibility of the rumors and distortion. Yes, definitely. Because in the informal communication, many times this happens, the rumors created or the information manipulated. That is called distortion of the message. And quick relax. Yes, in case of informal communication, it can be communicated very quickly to each other. So this is all about formal and informal communication. Many times feel like somebody communicated, but we don't get it. Like I'm delivering the lecture right now. Some people understanding it so well, but some people feel like we are not able to understand. What happened in that case? I'm just speaking to everybody in the same manner. Might be there is a fault in my communication. Might be there is a fault in your attention. Might be you are not feeling healthy today. Might be you are feeling sleepy. Might be there is any technical error is there. The voice is cracking, or it is not, you are not getting it clearly. So in this way, so many barriers just because of that. Sometimes we did not get the message so well. Very similar to that in the organization, some barriers taken place that is known as the communication barriers. What are these? These are the semantic barriers, psychological barriers, organizational barriers, personal barriers. One is semantic barrier. It refers to those barriers which are concerned with the problems and obstruction in the process of encoding and decoding of message. Like semantic barrier are the message is expressed so badly, or whatever the symbol or words that are used having the different meaning. Faulty translation. Some people, like I'm just delivering you lecture in English. If somebody is not able to understand that English and translating in a different manner or in a wrong manner, then what it become? It becomes the faulty translation. And clarified assumptions. Yes, sometimes we don't clarify that what is to be assumed in that situation. That can be technical jargon. You have seen in the industries and business, so many technical things are there. Moreover, in the organization, some technical words are to be used. So if you are not aware about those technical jargon, it creates a communication barrier. And what is the body language and gestures decoding? Suppose in a way you are decoding in a wrong manner, or getting the body language in the wrong manner, the gestures decoding in the wrong manner, then it also creates the semantic barrier. Psychological barrier. It refers to those which are concerned with the state of mind of both sender and the receiver. It's psychological. You can see the picture is over there. It is showing the picture of your brain, that what is going on in our mind. It is absolutely related to our psychology. These are the barriers which are concerned with the state of mind of both and the sender and the receiver, such as premature evaluation. Premature evaluation. You have seen many times this happen to you as well. We feel like somebody is just giving a message and we listen it half or partially and immediately respond. And people told us just listen it very carefully, then conclude. Because sometimes the partial or the half information gives us the another meaning, and we will just evaluate on the premature level and we will get it in a wrong sense, or we will get the or decode the wrong message. Lack of attention. If our attention is not there, we are not mentally present. Many times you feel like you are sitting in the class, the teacher is delivering the lecture, still you are unable to get that what the teacher is speaking, because you was not mentally present at that time. Your attention is not there. So that's why also loss by transmission and poor retention. Many of the people has a poor retention, means they forget whatever they get, whatever the message they have, or sometimes they just get the message so late. So it is the loss by the transmission or the poor retention. Distrust means, suppose if I'm delivering the lecture, you people has faith that whatever our teacher is communicating to us, that is absolutely correct. if you don't trust in me, your mind will never allow you to believe that I am speaking. So trust is must there. If this trust is there, it always create a psychological barrier in the communication. Next is the organizational barrier. It refers to those barriers which are related to organizational structure, authority, relationships, rules, and regulation, such as organizational policies, just because of some organizational policies that is of that kind which create a barrier between the communication to each other. Rules and regulation are also there. The status is also there. Sometimes the bosses or the superior just feel like just because of status, they don't communicate directly, and when the message is indirectly to convey to the other person, sometimes it's distorted. So it also create an organizational barrier also. And sometimes the organizational structures are so complex, so correct message cannot be communicated to the other people. And organizational facilities are there. Some organizational facility are also create the barrier in their communication. Personal barrier, that is related to the person. It refers to those barriers which are related to the personal factor, both sender and receiver, which may exert influence in effective communication. Like barriers related to supervisor can be there, or subordinate. What is this? Related to the supervisor, it is fear of challenge of authority. It is the fear of challenge of authority. Just because of that, sometimes they don't communicate so well, and lack of confidence in subordinate. Some people don't have any faith in their subordinate. Just because of that, also communication barrier take place. And barrier related to the subordinates, the unwillingness to communicate, the lack of the proper incentive, that is also known as the barriers related to the subordinates. How can we improve the communication in an effective manner? The communication according to the needs of the receiver should be there. The ideas should be very much clarified before communicated. We should be very much well aware about the language or the tone or the content of the message that we are communicating to the others. Communication is also for the present as well as for the future, and it should also always ensure the proper feedback. Feedback should be must. Whenever you are communicating something to anybody, you must take the feedback whether the message is clear to the person or not. Be a good listener. Yes. If you are listening so well, definitely whatever is communicating you, that will be understood by you. Otherwise, if you will not listen carefully, you will not be able to understand that what the sender wants to give you the message or what the sender wants to communicate to you. So in this way, this is all about the chapter that we have done. We did how can we improve our communication, what are the different barriers of the communication, types of communication, communication process, its features and meaning. So it is all about for the day. If now anybody have any doubt, please ask. Yes, anybody have any doubt? Let's discuss about the communication.